A spot opened on the Supreme Court over the weekend. The Obama administration is getting some things done before they leave, and the Maryland College president is being stubborn. I'm Kennerly Benrati.
And I'm Anthony Anderson. These are tonight's top stories.
Live on Crete Channel 21, this is DCTV News.
Flags in Washington, D.C. are at half-staff today after Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia died unexpectedly Sunday, leaving an open spot on the court just in time for election season. The question now is whether President Barack Obama will appoint a new justice or whether it will wait for the next president. President Obama says he will nominate, while Republican candidates are fiercely against this, with candidate Ted Cruz already out with a commercial on the matter. In the commercial, Cruz warns that conservatives are just one Supreme Court justice away from losing on issues like life, marriage, religious liberty, and the Second Amendment. However, even if President Obama nominates a new justice, he will face a fight for confirmation from his Republican-controlled Senate. Justice Scalia died of natural causes in Texas and is on his way to his home state, Virginia, now.
President Barack Obama and the leaders of Southeast Asian nations are meeting today to discuss issues of economics and security. Within the two-day talk, they'll discuss forging deeper ties amid China's assertive presence in the region. It's the first U.S. gathering for the 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and President Obama plans to personally welcome each leader tonight before the group gets down to business.
The president of a Catholic college in Maryland is rejecting the faculty's demand for his resignation. Faculty at Mount St. Mary's University in Emmitsburg, Maryland, are upset with President Simon Newman after discovering his plan to boost student retention by identifying freshmen likely to fail and offering tuition refunds for those leaving early in the semester. In an overwhelming vote, the members of faculty decided that Newman would have until this morning to resign. Newman refused, with the Student Government Association backing him up, where 76% of the students polled wanted him to stay. In a rally today, Newman told the student body that he's not going to stop.
2 hospitals and a school were the victims of the latest attacks on Syria, yet this time the attack was carried out by Russian warplanes. Doctors Without Borders says their hospital in the region was hit by 4 missiles that destroyed the building, leaving at least 5 patients, a caretaker and a guard, killed. 8 staff members and more patients are still missing. The head of the UN Children's Agency says he is appalled at reports of the attacks, 2 of which were supported by UNICEF. This crumbles Syria's infrastructure even further, where a quarter of all hospitals and schools are no longer functioning.
The Obama administration has approved the first U.S. factory in Cuba in more than half a century. This will allow a 2-man company from Alabama to build a plant assembling as many as 1,000 small tractors a year for sale to private farmers in Cuba. The Treasury Department notified the 2 partners last week that can start their project in special economic zones laid out by the Cuban government to attract foreign investment. Cuban officials have already publicly endorsed the product. It sure was nice outside today, Ryan.
That was. Went outside, nice shorts and t-shirt weather. Yeah, good and warmer for you.
Good warm up. It was pretty cold last week.
It was. Well, looks like we'll have some warmer weather for you this week. So get the rest of that forecast when DCTV continues.
It's about time.
Well, we had a nice day today, and as we went outside, you could see it is much warmer than last week. We're moving up into the higher 40s. Later this week, we can get into the 60s, a high of 48, low of 36. Fairly nice day today, not too much wind. And if we look at what's going on into the future and what's happening today, from a map standpoint, not too much is going on. We had a little bit of just a stationary front moving just right across the state. We had some rain back on the western plains, but that will never reach us for this week. Moving forward into tomorrow, not much else. Cloudy on the plains, nothing over where we're at. So we are pretty well standing. We're just going to have, it'll be fairly warming up throughout the week. And as we head into the forecast, you can see it's just going to warm up, be a kind of windy day, week. But tomorrow and Wednesday, we got low to mid 40s. And then Thursday is going to be our high for the week. We're going to have a balmy 66 degrees for you. That's with an exclamation point. And then 62 on Friday, warming up and into the weekend. We'll keep some of that same weather. and it'll be in the 50s. So you can, nice warm weather for you.
Great.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Business major? Well, the University of Nebraska at Lincoln is hosting the annual Women in Business Conference next week, and you are invited. The conference will feature keynote speaker Jan Fields, a former president of McDonald's USA, as well as a networking reception. Registration for students is $15 and $60 for business professionals and will include a lunch. The event will take place from 11 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. on February 26th.
A nursing home worker has been accused of taking drug pain patches meant for use by patients at a nursing home in eastern Nebraska. Rachel Newland took narcotic pain patches from 3 elderly residents of the home between December 11th and December 29th. She's in custody and charged with felony drug possession, abuse of a vulnerable adult, and theft.
Hillary Clinton's daughter will appear at a campaign event for her mother in Omaha later this week. Chelsea Clinton will speak at 4 p.m. Wednesday at a public campaign event in West Omaha at the Four Sisters Boutique. She is expected to talk about the election and how to support her mother during the Nebraska Democratic Caucus, which will take place March 5th.
If you are a farmer, watch out for a USDA survey headed your way this month. The U.S. Agriculture Department will survey 3,800 Nebraska farmers about what they plan to plant this spring. The information will be used to help compile the spring planting report that will be released March 31st. The survey will be used to predict agriculture trends for the upcoming season.
Did you know that Nebraska has the nation's 3rd highest prevalence of radon? Well, Nebraska lawmakers are seeking a bill to change that. Radon gas is an odorless, colorless gas that seeps into buildings from the surrounding soil. Senator Bob Christ of Omaha has introduced a bill to create a state radon task force, which will look for the best construction techniques to keep the cancer-causing gas out of homes. The bill is set for first-round debate this week.
So Clayton, how is Doane doing in athletics this week?
Well, both basketball teams are nearing the end of their season, and they'll face Nebraska Westland on Wednesday, and the baseball team is just gearing up. They just got back from Louisiana, so I'll have those stories and more when DCTV returns. Doane held its first football game 125 years ago yesterday. The grounds were soft and muddy and in decidedly poor condition, but this fact did not dampen the enthusiasm of Doane students. The Doane Owl reported in 1891, back in the day, a touchdown was worth only 4 points, and what they called a goal is what we now call a conversion, still only worth 2 points. The game against the University of Nebraska-Lincoln ended in a hard 18-0 Doane loss. However, this was not the first appearance of football at Doane. According to the Owl, football was played at Doane as a campus activity for men. Only one football was available for use, and once it was no longer usable, there was no funds for a new ball. Well, looks like the team has gotten over that hump. Doane's 2-2 baseball team split 2 games against Louisiana State University at Alexandria. In the first game, 3 Doane pitchers held the Generals to only 4 hits over 7 innings. Doane won the game 2-1. The second game proved less successful, however. Even with Doane's 5 runs, unfortunately, the Generals boasted a couple 3-run innings, holding on to the victory. Doane will play Graceland Saturday to continue their season on the road. Their season opener is March against Graceland University Hornets. Senior Heather Broman scored 31 points Saturday against number 2 Morningside in women's basketball. The mark is a personal high and only 6 points away from the record of 37 points. Broman's effort was unsuccessful. However, the Tigers fell to the Mustangs 89-76. Wednesday, the 14-14 Tigers will look to stay above 500 in their home closer against Westland. The season finale will be against Northwestern Saturday. Doane men's basketball almost broke a 7-year losing streak against the Mustangs, yet they couldn't hold out, narrowly losing 74-75. The Tigers fall to a 10-18 record after the 1-point last-second loss against the Mustangs. This marks the second time this season Morningside has beat Doane with 1 point. The men's team, too, will wrap up their home season against Nebraska Wesleyan Wednesday. The Broncos head into the offseason with their third world championship, and now questions loom about the team's task in the offseason. Super Bowl MVP Von Miller, should the status quo remain unchanged, history indicated in the 2011 draft he would be hitting a long-term deal with the Broncos. Second on Denver's mind will be backup quarterback Brock Osweiler. His 5-win, 2-loss record in the Broncos Super Bowl winning season proved his ability as an up-and-coming quarterback who could eventually become a franchise player in Denver. Look for Denver to offer a competitive offer, but no more, as Von Miller will be taking precedence over any other offseason task. That's all for sports. Anna, are you upset about missing the Grammys?
Yeah, I wish I could be covering that instead, but this is a close second, so I'll have the entertainment stories when DCTV continues. If you can't wait for the new Star Wars movie to come out, well, it doesn't look like you'll be waiting too long. StarWars.com announced today the full cast for Star Wars Episode 8, including a teaser trailer from where Star Wars The Force Awakens left off. Your favorites, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Adam Driver, etc., will be returning, but they will be joined by new members such as Benicio del Toro, Laura Dern, and Kelly Marie Tran. They announced all this today because February 15th marks the first day of filming for the new movie, which is set to open December 15th, 2017. Okay, so maybe you have a little while to wait then. Sorry. Well, if there is one thing 2010 has brought us in the entertainment world, it has to be the uprising of making mediums famous. First, we had the pet psychic, paving the way in the early 2000s to a new world where people sit and watch apparent psychics amaze normal people. Fast forward to the show that really took this idea off, the Long Island medium, where an average Joe mom goes to ghostly houses and helps people get the closure they need with lost loved ones. And now, finally, we have a Hollywood medium, a young, energetic man who can apparently connect with living and former celebrities. He not only senses the dead, but predicts the future of current celebrities' love lives and careers. On the latest episode, he predicted a former Robin Williams mentee will dabble in the marijuana business, and then he had an actual conversation with the late actor himself. Well, if that's not riveting television, I don't know what is. In case you weren't aware, the Grammys are tonight. However, the awards might not be the only thing you pay attention to. After releasing her single, Make Me Like You, Gwen Stefani is planning on recording a music video to her latest hit, Live, during a commercial break sponsored by Target. Target is calling itself a trailblazer for a whole new thought of commercial advertising, as it will be the first ever music video created on live television. However, details on this historical moment are hushed to create even more suspense for tonight. Well, Target, here's your time to make me like you. We'll see. Kanye West is asking Mark Zuckerberg for millions of dollars in donations to his personal account. Taking to Twitter to explain his recent move, Kanye claims he's $53 million in debt. However, he admits that he is rich enough to buy furs and take care of his family. Continuing to follow up on his request, he claims it's a natural artist struggle at this point in his career because he has had so many creative ideas but not enough money to follow through on them. Kanye is adamant in his tweets that he could change the world if people would just give him some more money. Hold up, Kanye. I'm really happy for you, and I'm going to let you finish. But really, you deserve the money least of nearly anyone ever asking for it. Just saying. Oh, and Kanye, I ain't finished with you yet. Looks like you're back at it again with your best friend Taylor Swift after deciding to crudely put her in your new song, Famous. That's right. In his new album, Kanye has an explicit line basically crediting himself for making T-Swift famous. But of course he did, right? But it gets better. Now the two are in a Twitter war on whether Kanye got Tay's permission, to which he claims he did and she claims he didn't. Not only that, but naturally Taylor's squad is attacking him as well, calling him misogynistic and ignorant. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling #Team Taylor on this one. That's all for entertainment tonight, but you know what really grinds my gears? When I go to a store to look for some clearance clothes and everything's a mess and nothing's my size. So if you're like a small, medium top and like size 5 pant, please stop buying my clothes. All right, Anthony, what grinds your gears?
What grinds my gears is really simple this week. When I'm walking on a sidewalk after, in the morning, you know, it gets cold, and so after it freezes, and I don't see the patch of ice that I'm about to slip on, that's what really grinds my gears. Kennerly, I'm afraid to ask.
You know what grinds my gears? Everyone talking about Kanye West being $53 million in debt. Kanye West, ladies and gentlemen, is a genius, okay? Kanye West is the most influential rapper ever, okay? If you go download Tidal, The Life of Pablo, listen to it. I promise you, the best thing ever. And that about does it. For Doane Weekly here on DCTV, I'm Kennerly Benradi.
And I'm Anthony Anderson. Take care.